We're recording.
Yeah, we've been recorded for 15 seconds.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey guys and ghouls and non-binary pals, welcome back to Nerd Initiation.
I'm Jason.
I'm Zana. I don't know why we let the goth girl do the intros, but that's why we get binary people.
And check out our cookies we have today.
Yeah,
Very much of the season.
I made jack-o'-lantern cookies. I placed all of the chocolate chips right myself. I like little crunchy cookies, so if anybody wants a big titty goth girlfriend that makes jack-o'-lantern cookies, hit me up. I'm single.
You are really selling yourself.
I'm halfway kidding.
Oh, that's
Welcome back to Nerd Initiation. We're back in my dollhouse today because we're gonna go see Jungle Book today. No, not Jungle. I mean the Jungle Cruise.
With Baloo?
With Baloo. No, with Dwayne Johnson. I'm very excited about it because the Jungle Cruise is one of my top 3 rides at Disneyland.
Yes. Isn't that the ride you saw Kevin Smith on?
No, that's Pirates of the Caribbean.
That was Pirates. Well, it's another film franchise. So
Also,
there you go.
From Disney, based off a ride.
I knew it was something with water.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's correct. It's, essentially jokes. I just like the Jungle Cruise for their, lame jokes, so I'm, super hoping that they have all the lame jokes today, so. A girl can dream. But anyway, that is not our topic for today, other than, gothy ghouly treats. We are going
And gas station fountain pop.
Yeah, I know. We need to go get some Bee Blast.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably get a pop at the theater. I'll drink more pop. Or soda.
I was going to say, I'm going to get a soda at the theater so you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Ask them for a soda and see how they react.
Yeah, they'll say, which kind?
After they blink for a second and they're like, what? You just jealous. Wait, was this whatever? Was that this? Whatever, Major Loser? So we're probably taking you back to elementary school with that little gesture. Like the late 90s, yeah. You're not all that in a bag of potato chips.
You know what? Gag me with a spoon.
Now that's going back to the early 80s.
Yeah, I know. That's my favorite, though.
That was probably, your dad and mom's era when they were younger.
I loved it from, oh god. What movie was that in? Why can't I think of it? She goes, ugh, gag me with a spoon.
Valley Girl?
Valley Girl,
Yeah.
Thank you. I love Valley Girl. I haven't seen it in a while, though.
Did you live in the valley?
I did.
So you are a valley girl.
I am a Valley Girl. That's right.
That's awesome.
I grew up across the street from Disneyland, and then in my older years, I lived in the valley. Anyway, so today's topic, if you are still here after hearing us rant, congratulations.
That's the best part.
That's the best part. Today's topic is, our friend Amy actually posted a meme, and I'll show it here. And it made us really laugh because it got us to thinking, what if, what would happen to those people that do live in a world where friggin' superheroes are real? What would happen? Would our insurance cover that shit? What happens to our cars and our buildings?
Yeah. That is a topic that, it's been touched upon quite a bit over probably the last 30 or so years.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the comic books especially. Most recently, it was a direct-to-Amazon Prime series based on a comic by Garth Ennis called The Boys. Have you heard of The Boys?
I have not heard of The Boys.
I've read the comic a little bit. I've not seen the show yet, but I've heard good things about it. I'd still like to check it out sometime. But it is kind of meant to be like a perspective of comic book superheroes, like if they existed in the real world, what would happen? What would they be like? I do remember from the comic, like the first issue starts with like a couple walking in a park, and then like a super fast speedster like runs by, and like just turns the girlfriend into just jello, like kills her. But it was an accident because he was chasing down a bad guy. Then he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and the boyfriend's like, "You killed my girlfriend." It's like, we'd have to watch out for like superhero battles and stuff, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. If you're not super in any way, you should not be anywhere near that action at all, because those supers, man, the way I see it, they're like one track mind. Like that is my enemy, that is my target, that is who I must destroy, and they don't really, like every single superhero movie or whatever, they don't care about what's going on around them.
Right, exactly. And that's how the traditional mainstream superhero comics and shows and movies are. It's kind of like, we're doing battle. People are just kind of off to the side, out of sight, out of mind. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But the boys kind of showed that real person perspective, like what could happen. That's one example. Another example is in the late 80s, DC Comics had a comic book series called Damage Control. Was it DC? No, it was Marvel.
No. You're asking me like
right.
I know.
Marvel Comics had a series called... All right, hold on. So in the Marvel Comics in the late 80s, they introduced a concept called Damage Control. They were the people who cleaned up after all the battles. All the buildings that get knocked down, cars destroyed. I guess someone thought, what happens to all that stuff after? They never addressed it in the comics themselves.
Right.
So they had the damage control concept.
Well, here's the thing with that, though. Like, yeah, I get that damage control, like, cleans it up, but do they replace the cars? Is that up to insurance? Do superheroes have their own insurance that pays for your shit when they get it knocked down? Is Act of God made for Thor? Like, things like that.
These are good questions. I don't remember Damage Control addressing that kind of stuff, but yeah, you would have to think about insurance rates in
I think that's just
the superhero universes.
We both work in insurance, so I guess that's just where my mind goes. But like, who pays for the damages to like a person's car, like the average person who's like, oh, I just went into work today, so I parked my car on the street where I normally park, and then crash, and the Hulk uses it and smashes a guy over the head or whatever. Like, what happens to your car? Is that a total loss? Do you get a new one?
I would almost...
Is that Act of God?
I would almost think that's so prevalent. It would almost have to be like a state mandated thing, or like a state insurance fund, like the government would have to...
The government would pay for that?
Control it, yeah.
Yeah, would you have to like file a claim, and your claim would then like subsidize it with that government? Or now I'm just getting real boring, but like, how would that work? Would you have to have acts of God like in your like policy?
I would think there would. I would think that'd be some kind of endorsement you could add, like the superhero damage thing.
Superhero endorsement? I like it. I mean...
Unless it's like a whole separate policy you'd have to get, kind of like flood.
Oh.
That's an option too.
That is true.
Probably automobiles would have it as an endorsement,
As
I would
something
think.
you can put on
Homes, you might need a whole separate policy.
You need a separate policy, like a wraparound.
Yeah, but, it would only happen in certain areas. Like New York City would be the biggest one, like in Marvel.
LA.
In DC it'd be Metropolis and Gotham, those fictional cities. So I would think, there'd be an opportunity.
Like it would just be localized to like some places. Like I would, if superheroes are being mandated, or if superheroes are being watched by the government, a la like Marvel, and half of them don't want to sign the contract, but like if the government has their sights and controlling, we'll say, not really, but, you know, controlling the superheroes, and it is then up to the government to pay for what the superheroes are doing, right? But, like, the superheroes that don't sign the contract, like, would they have to pay out of pocket? Do they just not care? If you're just an average Joe, are you just shit out of luck? Like...
Yeah, or do some rich superheroes just offer to pay for stuff once in a while?
Oh, like Iron Man, just like...
Iron Man or Batman, yeah.
Sorry about that, bro, here.
Or they get Superman getting lumps of coal that he just turns into diamonds, like, all day.
Like, that's what he does on his off time.
Yeah.
He's just, like, sitting on the porch in a rocking chair, like, crushing...
Like some guy's whittle.
Yeah, so,
he just crushes coal into diamonds.
Lois Lane is sitting there next to him, like, knitting.
Yeah. Suddenly they're like 70 years old.
And he's on his rocking chair just crushing coal into diamonds. And that's how they pay for shit. I mean, it would bring back the coal industry.
Yeah.
It'd bring back the coal industry.
It's awesome. It would also crash the diamond market.
Oh my god, it would. Oh my gosh. That would be hilarious. But, like, would people pay extra if it's Superman diamonds rather than regular diamonds? Like,
Yeah, there could be a market for that, yeah.
yeah, just
That's
like
true.
have its own different market.
I like it.
Yeah, thank you. God, that's hilarious.
But yeah, that meme, wasn't that whole thing, was it something to do with Captain America's shield, something like that?
Yeah, it was because we saw it, I showed it to you guys, but we saw it like 2 weeks ago. It was a picture of a guy driving his car down the freeway and the door was gone. So, like, and it says, when Captain America uses the door of your car as a shield. Like,
Yep.
bro, I'm sorry, that sucks. Like,
You're just out of luck.
you're just shit out of luck. At that point, though, I don't know. Maybe I'd send a letter to Captain America because I feel like he would be nice enough to do something, or like ask Tony to like replace the car or something.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I would definitely write a letter. Strongly worded letter. No, not really. Not strongly worded.
Or maybe he'd give you that whole spiel where it's like, hey, you assisted in helping defend the country kind of thing.
I would be...
To make you feel warm and fuzzy about it.
I would be angry. I'm like, I don't want to fucking defend my country. That's why I'm not in the military. My brother's in the military. He can defend the country, but I didn't sign up for that. I was going to work today. I need my car. I need to go to work. I have to pay for my life, you know?
And then it's raining that day and you got water coming in.
I'm like just like soaking. My mascara's running down my face. I'm like, but you ruined my car. Oh my god, my Fiat. Oh.
Does that idea just make you very upset?
Yeah.
Something happened to the Fiat?
I love my Fiat. I have a little Fiat and it's amazing. You guys seen the interior in a previous episode, but I love my little car.
That was when we went to the Festival of Oddities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we took your car.
We did. Lots of fun.
It was.
But I would be so sad if something happened to my Fiat, and I don't know. I would probably ask them to like pay for my car because I don't want. Honestly, if it's not my fault, I don't want to have my insurance rates go up if I filing a giant claim like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would try to get it out of their insurance company first.
Definitely. Well, see, in Michigan, we're a no-fault state.
Mm-hmm. I know.
So, you'd have to go through your own insurance, and then your carrier would subrogate through their carrier.
Yes, they would.
Insurance 101.
Let's go. Michigan's stupid. I like living in Michigan, don't worry.
The state isn't stupid, just the auto law, or
Just
auto
the
insurance
auto law.
laws, yeah.
The state is actually very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan.
Yeah, like, Our friend Jaden went up north
Yeah.
recently on vacation. She had some beautiful pictures online.
She did.
I saw, yeah.
Yeah, this whole place. I love up north. The the UPA, the Upper Peninsula. It's just so gorgeous. I went up there a few months ago with my friend Taylor.
That's right. Yeah.
It was gorgeous. Loved it. Anyway, but we do have catastrophic auto laws. I'm just kidding, not catastrophic, but they are pretty wacky. Anyway, but I can't imagine ever a superhero being in Michigan. Maybe Detroit, but nobody's gonna come to Grand Rapids.
There is,
Or
yeah. The only time I can think of in comics where there was superheroes was they were in Detroit. Back in the 80s,
see,
the Justice League were actually headquartered in Detroit for a little bit.
Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the other side of the state, baby.
That era is actually referred to as Justice League Detroit. That was 83 to 86 or 7-ish.
Before my time.
Yeah, but that was when the Justice League lineup was not very strong.
What was it?
No. They were trying to do something different with the League. You know, for the longest time it had been DC's biggest heavy hitters. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
And then they expanded the League in the 70s. Green Arrow, Hawkman, Black Canary, Red Tornado, the Atom, Firestorm. They called that era the satellite era because they had the satellite in space. That was their headquarters. They're pretty awesome then.
So they had two headquarters, one in space and one in Detroit?
Well, their original headquarters was in Happy Harbor, Rhode Island. It was in a cave. Then they moved to the satellite. But then what ended up happening was they were all so busy, they didn't have time to really focus on League business. So Aquaman, as a founding member, he had the authority to disband the League. That was in their charter. And he declared at the United Nations, the Justice League is disbanding. But then he's like, I'm putting together a new league. So it was him and Martian Manhunter and Zatanna. You know Zatanna, right? She has magic powers. You should look into Zatanna. She's cool.
Why didn't they just hire a secretary to take care of, like, League business?
That I'm not sure of. Well, the Justice Society had the Earth 2 Wonder Woman as their secretary, so there was some kind of precedent for that. Elongated Man was another guy. Do you know him? Basically like Plastic Man, he could stretch.
Oh, like Mr. Fantastic?
Like Mr. Fantastic too, yep. So they all stayed as members, and they got all these new members. They got Vibe, who was a Hispanic character, which was pretty groundbreaking at the time. His powers were, he could vibrate things, but he was also a break dancer, because it was the 80s.
So he was a vibe.
Yeah.
He was a mood.
They got Steel, who was like a cyborg character. Gypsy, who I think her thing was she was younger, she could turn invisible or something.
So
they got all these like brand new characters who were kind of being like mentored by the older characters.
And they got used as secretaries.
Basically, and they they ended up with the headquarters in Detroit, and that's how Michigan had superheroes.
They can't just like hire like a person, or they all have to be super to work there, even in the intern level jobs.
Oh, Vixen was another member. Do you know Vixen?
I do not know Vixen.
Vixen's cool. She's an African American female who can take on the powers of any animal with this like amulet thing she has.
Oh, that sounds really
pretty
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, no, she hasn't been in any of the movies or.
She was in the CW shows.
I was gonna say, I have not seen the CW shows.
The CW DCVerse.
Yeah, I have not. I've seen like an episode here and there because I dated someone at one point who liked them, but I never really got into them.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Their heyday was like kind of, I guess 2014 to 2018-ish, 19.
See, the only one that I ever watched on like, was it a CW show? Or I think it was CW before CW, but it was Smallville.
Yeah, because that probably would have started on the old WB network, I think. Yeah. Yeah, that's a CW show. It became that in like 2006, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, I watched that one, but that was about it, and I didn't even watch it all the way through.
I've only seen bits and pieces of Smallville.
Yeah.
Never watched it.
Yeah, but no, I haven't watched. If they're not in the movie, I probably don't know who it is. Sorry. I love the movies though.
As you could tell, based on that setup, Justice League Detroit didn't last very long. They ended up breaking up in 1987, making way for a new version of the league that ultimately became Justice League International.
Ooh.
So that was fun.
So they're destroying people's cars and homes all over the world.
That's right. Not just the U.S.
Not just the U.S. Now we've gone out and destroyed everything else. Sounds good.
That was back when they had the spin-off Justice League Europe about the team over there. It's pretty cool.
Well, I would think there would be supers everywhere in the world, not just in the United States.
That's
They can't
what they
all just be American.
That's what they wanted to do. It almost became like a semi-autonomous governmental unit where there would be a Justice League embassy in different countries that would have a transporter tube because that's how they got around. And like the Justice League could go to that country if they needed help.
A transporter tube? Like, do they just have tubes everywhere? Like, are they glass tubes? Are they plastic tubes?
They're like glass.
Are they like beam me up, Scotty tubes? Or
They're like that. Yeah, they disassemble matter. It's not like those.
I'm thinking like.
What are those pneumatic tubes like at the bank or whatever? Like you're just getting shot around. Like no, it's like Star Trek. You could say, yeah.
I just picture like all these tubes everywhere, like giant rainbows, and you go.
You just got that'd be fun.
Like, well, when you're in there and you're like this, and you're in a tube, and you're like I would think that would be very like
tubular.
Ouch. Oh my god. I was gonna say.
I like your idea, yeah.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be very practical because they wouldn't be able to protect themselves when they were in their tube.
Yeah, they would be kind of sitting ducks, I guess, but they'd be going pretty fast too.
That's true. That's true. But with math and science, the evil person can predict, like, by how far and how fast that they're going, where they're going to be, and like set explosives at that point when they need it. And then they're dead.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Well, that's why they didn't do it that way.
Yeah. They did the beam me up Scotty way. Got it.
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because that technology existed on DC Comics Earth in the 80s.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, if I were a superhero, I kind of want... I mean, I want, like, a badass power, too. But, like, the coolest power that I always thought was cool... Don't ask me why I thought it was cool. Okay. But Charmed, like... The power to orb places. Have you ever watched Charmed? No. It was a show in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and it's about witches, and they had white lighters that were like kind of angel-like creatures, and they did this thing where they orbed, and what they did was they dissolved into tiny little sparkles, and then that they can move from time, or from space to space as being tiny sparkles, and I like it.
That's fun.
Isn't that fun? And then Piper had the power to, like, she can freeze time, or she can go, and then blow the shit up, too.
She could freeze time?
She can freeze time in a room.
Like the 80s TV show Out of This World?
I have no idea. I didn't watch that.
Never saw that. It was about a teenage girl on her 13th birthday. She learns that she's half alien.
Oh, fun.
Her father was an alien from the planet Antares. So, at that age... she manifested powers. She would go like this. She'd put her two fingers together, her index fingers, and it'd make this noise, going, and like everybody would be frozen except her.
E.T. phone home.
Kind of like that, but except to herself. So,
Woo-woo.
she also had this cube device that she could communicate with her father with because he had gone back to Antares. Her father was voiced by an uncredited Burt Reynolds.
Oh, fun.
So, 80s kids, if you remember that show, You're probably around my age or older.
And 90s kids, I see you with the Charmed.
Yep, exactly.
But even in those places, you know, or even in those type of shows, I don't know about that one, but you know, the general public is sometimes affected by these supers or these people that have powers. Even then, like, I remember watching them and people would come out of her freeze and be like, the fuck just happened? Why is things different?
That happened on Out of This World all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think about this a lot, because sometimes there are, like sometimes, you know how, like, electricity will, like, flash off and it'll just become dark for, like, a split second like this, and then it's fine, or, like,
Flickers.
Something flickers, like, the light or something in the world flickers, and it doesn't make any sense. I think about that all the time. I'm like, did somebody just stop time? Am I just like a regular person that happened to have been frozen in time for whatever period, and it's just a split second to me, but like it's like a fourth of a second? But
I never thought about that.
yeah,
That's a cool concept.
Yeah, when something flickers in your life, whether it be light or something just flickers in your life that doesn't make sense, you have been a victim of time stealing.
From Evie Garland. Doing.
Or Piper Halliwell.
It seems like there was another show that had that concept, or a movie. I can't think. Yeah, I can't think of what it was. But
You know, stopping time or time travel is pretty.
well, it's kind of like Adam Sandler's movie Click, right? Like.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
Wasn't is that the one where his wife is Kate Beckinsale?
Maybe. It's been a while since I've seen it. His dad is played by Henry the Fonz Winkler. I remember that.
I love Kate Beckinsale.
I love the Fonz.
All right.
Yeah, Kate Beckinsale's good. Sure.
Do you know who Kate Beckinsale is? She's freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, she's pretty.
She's pretty. It's freaking Kate Beckinsale.
I mean, she's no Joyce DeWitt, but who,
Kate Beckinsale.
who is?
I mean, Kate Beckinsale is like the OP for me. Like, that is, growing up in my teenage years, I'm like, Kate Beckinsale, wow, like, she's gorgeous. Anyway, but yeah, so I always thought about that. Like, if something just doesn't seem right, I'm like, did something just happen and time stopped and I wasn't aware because I'm a normal person, I'm not a super?
Very true.
Making thoughts. What are your thoughts about it? Do you think that there could be supers out there and we just don't know, that like the government is hiding it? Do you think they are hiding it and things that we can't explain could be from supers or something like that? Somebody with powers?
You know, periodically in the paranormal circles, like I'll see stuff online where it's like footage of what looks like somebody, like a humanoid figure flying or floating in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, there could be secret super people out there.
Super secret super people.
That's it. Yeah.
Super secret super people. Say that 5 times fast. But yeah, like I honestly, I would love there to be supers. Just don't hurt my baby little Fiat, and then we would be good.
Aren't you super?
I mean, in my own way. I mean, I made super cute jack-o'-lantern cookies.
That's power.
That is
Yeah.
power.
My power is to eat them.
That's right. But yeah, so tell us what you think. Do you think that maybe the government would be like their responsibility to take care of that? Do you think it would be up to the supers themselves, or is it up to like insurance companies? Because I don't think that's fair either. But I don't know, because that would be super interesting to me to like figure out what would need to be done in that kind of scenario. Because I mean, yes, in one hand I'm like, thank you for protecting us from alien racists that would come and destroy our world and enslave us all. But on the other hand, my Fiat.
See, what you just described reminds me of a classic late 80s DC story called Invasion, where there was a galactic coalition of different aliens that tried to invade Earth, but the superheroes fought them off. It was pretty cool. The first thing they did was they took over all of Australia.
I mean, go ahead. I want to go.
You're like, hey, you have Australia.
I mean, aliens would go down and get to Australia and then, like, all be killed off by just the wildlife there. Fucking, the first thing they do, they touch down and kangaroos come and, like, punch them in the face. And
Plus,
then they get, like, eaten by crocodiles. And then they get, like bitten by poisonous snakes and spiders that are, like, this big. Yeah, go ahead. Go to Australia. See what happens.
Plus, you'd have, like, peak 80s Paul Hogan, a.k.a. Crocodile Dundee. He'd be, like, an underground freedom fighter or something, like, taking out aliens, like, slashing their necks with that big knife.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. I wouldn't
like,
want to go there.
The crocodile hunter, like, or not, like, the crocodile hunter, like, Steve Irwin, and, like, he has, like, his army of crocodiles that, like, because they're friends, and he's like, cracky mate, go get that alien or something.
Now,
like
that would have been a team-up.
Like,
Yeah.
right? That would
Paul
be...
Irwin and Paul Hogan. Or Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
Paul Hogan.
Man.
Yeah, I like it.
Steve Irwin was just a super in and of himself. And the world is a darker place without him.
He kind of looked like your dad, didn't he?
He did look like my dad. My dad actually, back in the 90s, like, when he was younger, they were about the same age. Like, my dad got stopped and asked if he was Steve Irwin because they looked so similar.
Plus, your dad drove around with a crocodile in his car.
A stuffed one. He had the outfit.
He did?
Yes.
Like the khaki
yeah, the
shorts?
khakis,
And
yeah.
That's awesome.
He thought it was funny. Well, he'd wear, like, a khaki shirt with jeans because he doesn't wear shorts, but yeah.
He doesn't?
No.
He doesn't want people to get jealous of his super muscular legs.
I have no idea. I don't look at my father's legs.
Yeah, because he doesn't wear shorts.
But yeah, so he did look like Steve Irwin, and you know what? It's like if you ordered Steve Irwin off Wish, you get my dad.
He's like the Chinese knockoff version, like the overseas,
Steve Irwin.
like non-licensed merchandise version of Steve Irwin.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah.
That's
I
great.
love my dad. He's great, but I'm teasing. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, but I think Australia would be a great first defense against aliens for Earth. Have them go there. I'm cool with that. I wouldn't fuck around with Australians anyway. Like, do it. Go. They live in this place. Like, they actively, voluntarily live in this place where things can actively kill them at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Go.
Scary.
I love it. I mean, I want to go to Australia at one point to visit, but...
It would be fun.
I would need, like, the bat shark repellent spray.
You'd need a lot of different repellent sprays.
I'd have, like, a Batman belt, like a utility
You'd have
belt.
cans all over you.
Just, like, the different, like, bat repellent spray. Oh, my God. Oh, anyway.
Yep.
Anyway, so, in short, tell us what you think. What are your thoughts about this subject? I mean, would you have, like, an excess insurance policy to cover, like, supers or acts of gods of lightning, gods of thunder?
Would you be afraid to walk through the park?
Right?
You know, knowing you could get splattered everywhere?
Would you be afraid to go to work and park your car on the streets?
Would you go to church as normal when you know there's a Norse god of thunder who exists?
Actually, yeah.
I mean, there are so many questions
That's
superheroes would raise.
That's
Yeah.
that's true, isn't it?
Like, religion would probably look a lot different. Actually, in both Marvel and DC, there is acknowledgement that there is an afterlife with a god and devil and all that. You know, Marvel, you've got Mephisto and everything. And
well, Steve Rogers said something like that. Like, somebody said, like, don't you, like, know a god? And he goes, there's only one God, man. Anyway.
And on that note,
let us know in the comments below.
remember to like and subscribe down below. I'll leave some questions or comments for us, and maybe we'll give you a shout out on the next episode, answer your question, say hello, that kind of thing.
That's right. And give us a like. We're on Facebook and Instagram, and our podcast is on anywhere you like podcasting. So Spotify, Google, Apple, whatever you like, we're there. And come hang out with us.
And always remember to
nerd your heart out.